Today we're talking about a cherished YouTuber who's currently being cancelled by the mentally ill. And when I say he's getting cancelled by the mentally deranged, I'm referring to the fact that he's not only receiving threats, but most importantly, he's also getting called the N-word. Now, I already know what you're thinking. You're probably telling yourself, who the fuck is this random Asian YouTuber and why is he making stuff up? Well, I wish I was making things up. Because here's the thing, guys. If you go to Penguinz0's channel and you click on any of his videos like this one, you're going to notice really quickly that his like-dislike ratio always looks... That's my butt. What the f... Like... Okay, let's just ignore the fact that my man's got his cheeks out for no reason in his video, okay? I mean, I'm gonna be brutally honest here, but if there's something worth canceling Penguinz0 for, it's for randomly showing his gyat without our consent. Smash like and subscribe if you agree. As I was saying, you're going to... Okay, let me just change the timestamp for a second here. But you're going to notice that the like-dislike ratio of his videos always hover at a healthy 99% range. And the reason for that is actually quite simple. It's because Penguinz0 is one of the rare top OG YouTubers who managed to, you know, take the correct path. The path of being normal, of staying normal after making a name for themselves, which is sadly a path that a lot of YouTubers can't relate to after becoming successful. YouTubers such as this person, or such as this creep, or such as this bro. But not only is Penguinz0 respected for being one of the last pillars when it comes to OG YouTubers who have been doing YouTube for more than 10 years without being cancelled or exposed for something completely disgusting, he's also beloved for his ability to consistently give nuanced and, sometimes, I'm gonna be honest here, popular cold takes. So imagine my surprise when I found out that Moist Critical or Penguinz0 is currently being cancelled not only by TikTok tards like this person who sang stuff like, I've lost all my respect for Moist Critical, or I'm sad I didn't know Moist Critical was Mickey. Or it gets even better, believe it or not, because we've also got people saying stuff like, Charlie's really showing his privilege with this one. It must be nice being a straight, cis, and white person. And of course I'm saving the best for last, because not only is he getting cancelled by TikTok tards like Isabel over here, but to no one's surprise, he's also receiving hate from terminally online Redditards, such as this person who sang, Moist Critical is an alt-right moron who's only known to be a centrist because he just usually hides it better. Is this guy mentally challenged? Don't answer that, that's a rhetorical question, but it takes literally one brain cell that this person clearly lacks, let's be honest here, to understand that this whole weird take of saying that Moist Critical is an alt-right moron is such a brain-dead thing to say. Are we seriously calling this YouTuber, who's been covering the Epstein files for months, who has literally been making fun of the American government for one day saying, oh yeah, I've got the Epstein files, we're gonna release them, they're sitting on my desk right now, just for the very next day to gaslight the public by saying, what Epstein files? Are we seriously calling him alt-right now? I mean, just a few days ago, my man literally made a video exposing the Zodiac Killer over here. Would an alt-right person really do that? And you know what? I'm actually curious as to why Moist Penguin is even making a video on the Zodiac Killer. Like, what did he even do?
Yeah, we should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders?
Okay, at the risk of sounding alt-right, I actually agree with him here. Yeah, let's stop all murder. Are you kidding me?
How about we all come together and say, let's stop rapes?
Once again. Yeah, okay, I'm not trying to go full mask off here and say I'm alt-right, guys. But he actually is cooking low-key. Let's give him a chance.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Yeah, like,
I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C.
Okay, I'm starting to understand why Penguinz0 made a video on this clown. And in case you didn't know, but the Zodiac Killer's real name is actually Ted Cruz. But after watching what we just watched, I think we can all agree when I say that Mr. Ted needs to change his legal name to Mr. Ped. Because what in the actual fuck did we just listen to here?
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
No! Ain't nobody coming together to stop the attack on PDF files. You wanna know who's joining your movement of stopping PDF files? It's gonna be people like this. Or, oh, that's the wrong picture. I meant, it's actually gonna be people like this. Yo, my bad, guys. Guys, misclicks happen, okay? When I'm out here trying to click a picture out of 500, misclicks are gonna happen, okay? Now, I don't know if Mr. Pet Cruz had a little brain fart or something, but this is the same person who voted against releasing the Epstein files. But the reason as to why I brought all of these receipts forward is to cement the objective fact that Penguinz0 is probably one of the most mentally healthy, mentally stable, progressive, liberal, left-leaning channels on the platform. So when you've got terminally online freaks like this who are out there slandering Penguinz0's name, who are out there crafting a fake false propaganda campaign against him by spewing BS like, oh, Penguinz0 is a Yancey sympathizer. Oh, he's the guy at the bar who would do something sus to your drink. Implying that Penguinz0 is secretly a diddler who grapes, when you've got YouTuber tards who are out there fueling this proliferation of mental illness by saying stuff like, oh, Penguinz0 is a grifter. Oh, sorry. Penguinz0 is a white person who doesn't get it, who grifts by doing performative pacifism. And when you've got Redditards who are claiming that Penguinz0 is an alt-right moron, or straight up calling him an N-word, well, it just doesn't make any sense now, does it? Especially with all the receipts I've given you. By the way, you'll have to excuse me with my careful wording here. Last time I said this word instead of saying word. This is what YouTube did to me. Literally. But now comes the obvious question that you're most definitely asking yourself. Why? Why are social rejects trying to cancel Moist Penguin by calling him a far-right German from the 1940s? Where did this all begin? Well, a few weeks ago, Moist Critical committed the cardinal sin of uploading this video on his channel. And as I click on his video, you're going to notice something extremely wrong right away. You're going to notice that suddenly, his dislike bar looks bigger than my meat, which is something that's clearly not normal for a channel like Penguinz0's, as we've clearly established before, a channel that normally always gets an overwhelmingly positive reception whenever he uploads. But the dislike ratio bar does not even begin to give you the full picture when it comes to how actually unhinged the reception of this video really is. Because I'm gonna keep it a $1.50 here, but the comment section of this video literally looks like a Tuesday afternoon in Chirac. In other words, it literally looks like a war zone. Let's first start by analyzing this family-friendly comment and work our way up.
Man, they got the wrong Charlie.
Now, unless you've been living inside of my cheeks for the past few weeks, then you're most definitely aware of the fact that a few weeks ago, a political figure by the name of Charlie Kirk got oofed, got murked, at a public event where hundreds of students got to see him spewing Minecraft red dye, ketchup, out of his. And in case you're not familiar with who Penguinz0 is, well, his real name is also Charlie. So essentially what this mentally ill freak is really saying is that he wishes Penguinz0 the same way Charlie Kirk did. Why, you may ask? Well, it's all because Penguinz0 committed the horrible act of giving his opinion on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, where he said this.
So let me be crystal clear here. I think the assassination of Charlie Kirk, everything that happened here is fucking horrible. I think it is horrific, awful. I think it is terrible. And I'm aware that some people have been celebrating this. I find that to be fucking disgusting. Now, as I said on...
That's right, guys. We live in a world where condemning political violence, condemning the fact that the monster murked someone at a public event in front of hundreds of students, well, we live in a world where that gets you called a German for the 1940s, or it gets people to wish that you're the one who passed away. Now, I don't care where you land on the mental illness political spectrum. I don't care whether or not you're left or right-leaning, because I know we can all agree when I say that these kind of unhinged comments are disgusting, deplorable, and no one, especially not someone like Penguinz0, one of the most mentally healthy, mentally stable YouTubers out there, deserves to receive those kind of comments. Yo, let's click on this guy's PFP for a second, because you know what? A guy's PFP can tell you a lot about them online. And from what I can see, he's using the picture of a Donald the duck that's taking one too many Tylenol pills, which is a great reflection when it comes to what the individual behind the computer who wrote this crazy comment must be like in real life. Because what kind of disorder do you need to have to even remotely think in your head that writing this vile crap is normal? Well, you know what? I believe I've got the answers. So earlier, I made a mistake of referring to the political spectrum as the mental illness spectrum before quickly correcting myself. But you know what? I don't even know why I corrected myself in the first place. Because I sincerely believe that the further you are within the political spectrum, and this goes for either side, by the way, well, I sincerely believe that the more likely you are to suffer from some kind of mental debuffs. And make no mistake, I'm not just speaking out of my cheeks here. I'm actually speaking facts. Let's take the far left, for example, and what better way to prove my point than to bring up the second most popular far left influencer on the internet, who spews divisive, violent rhetorics for a living.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events.
Now, you're not gonna believe this, but this person actually suffers from a very serious mental disease known as being a cuck. But it gets even better, guys, because let's talk about the most popular radical left influencer on the internet. And make no mistake, I'm not calling Hassan Abi a radical left in order to belittle him or in order to paint him in a bad light. No, he actually prides himself in calling himself a far left extremist.
The obvious question, is there a difference between far left extremism and far right extremism? And the answer, of course, is yes. Now, I'm biased. I'm obviously biased. But think for a brief moment. We are billed as far left extremists. And as far left extremists, we believe that everyone should have health care.
That's right, guys. That's what far leftism is all about. It's about being a good guy. It's about, wanting free healthcare for everyone, being against racism, And I'm gonna go ahead and reveal to you guys that I actually got every single one of you with the old switcheroo. Because this is actually a pro Hassan video. Because he's the good guy here. And you know what? I feel like he's underselling what his position with far leftism is all about. So I'm gonna go ahead as a good Samaritan and help my favorite streamer with his public image.
America deserved 9/11, dude.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
Now that's what far leftism is all about, right, guys?
Just such a lib ass, like, oh, dude, please don't get a Frenchie. I just read a Vox article talking about how problematic they are. Like, I don't give a fuck. I know they have breathing problems. I know they're incredibly fucking inbred. I don't give a shit. I know. I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. This is a dog.
Wow, guys. What a beautiful message. Not only is far left extremism all about wanting free healthcare for everyone, all about, you know, being against racism and being against violence, well, except when it comes to people who have a different opinion than yours. But far left extremism is also all about caring about animals, apparently. Hey, you know what, guys? We gotta give props to Hassan, because I've never met someone who's so consistent with their beliefs and who's so good at preaching what they teach. Because not only are there numerous clips of him, well, I'm gonna be honest here, of being an amazing pet owner.
Stay. If you run right now, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I'll actually kill you, okay? In front of everyone. Stay.
Not only is there footage of him literally yanking a dog by their tail in order to, I guess, gain control over them, which is definitely a sign of being an amazing pet owner, guys. But he also went viral a few days ago for going full electro wizard on his puppy dog.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence.
So here we've got a clip of Hassan probably complaining about how much he hates America as usual and how America deserves 7-Elevens. But you're gonna see Hassan's dog do the absolute unthinkable, okay? It's gonna stand up and think for 1 second that it's allowed to roam around his room, which is such a selfish and greedy thought for a dog to have now, right, guys? But notice how #1 animal activist Hassan instantly gets pissed off when his female pet dog does the most despicable, greediest thing ever. Walk. And the reason why I took the time to specify that his dog is a female dog is because, well, we've already concluded that according to Hassan, dogs have no rights. So now we're talking about a female dog? I mean, that dog might as well have negative rights at this point. Notice how Hassan instantly gets pissed off when his dog starts walking around for 1 millisecond.
The same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
So now, here's where it gets interesting. You're gonna notice that when he gets annoyed, when he rolls his eyes, he immediately starts reaching for something. But as soon as he reaches out for something that may or may not be the remote for the shock collar that his dog may or may not be wearing, it's really funny how his dog instantly, coincidentally starts yelping in pain.
America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
Bruh, imagine being Hassan's dog and getting out of your 1x1 square prison just for a second, just to see your owner look at you like this and say, "Kaya, get back in your cage now!" Now, I'm not gonna go over the overwhelming evidence that pretty much confirms that Hassan is, the far left's best pet owner. Let's put it that way. Because that's not the focus of this video. In fact, you might be wondering what all of this has to do with Penguinz0 being cancelled by the mentally ill. Well, this segment about Hassan actually has everything to do with Charlie Penguin being cancelled. Because the evidence against Hassan being a terrible pet owner is so overwhelming that Charlie Penguin actually made a video a few days ago calling Hassan out.
I just find that to just be so disingenuous because most people are going to see this and it looks like you shock your dog. Given how annoyed you are with the dog, and right before she yelps out in pain, you roll your eyes, you look at something off screen, you clearly are like, you are reaching off screen, that is very clear, and then the dog yelps while you were still annoyed.
But notice how this video of Penguinz0 where he's criticizing Hassan, the leader of the far left, also got rated by the mentally ill, and notice how eerily similar these unhinged comments are to the comments of his Charlie Kirk video where he had the horrible idea of saying the hot take that political violence is never okay. Fortunately, a lot of Penguinz0 fans are starting to wake up and they're starting to open their eyes to the bitter truth. The truth being that all of these despicable, disgusting comments are all coming from the same kind of freaks. 30-year-old social rejects who... Oh, now when you see read more here, that's always a bad sign. 30-year-old social rejects who, instead of seeking employment, they're out there writing dissertations and trying to slander Penguinz0's name by calling him an alt-right N-word.
So you got baited by all the Yatsies that hate Hassan, huh? Well, that might be your starting point. In a year or two, you're gonna be the next Asmal Gold. I hope not, because ass Mongol has turned into an N-word. Look, man, you're dumb. You're stupid. You don't have a brain.
Okay, whoa, bro. You literally have an anime avatar as your PFP, which is usually a huge sign that the person behind the computer is severely mentally ill. Bro, I mean, look at how mad this guy is.
Hey, you're dumb. You're stupid. You don't have a brain.
Bro, your brain is defective. What are you talking about? Here's the crux of the matter. We live in a world where the comment section of a mentally healthy, left-leaning centrist gets raided by terminally online losers like this who brand him as a radical right, white privileged German from the 1940s. All because he made a video calling out the despicable actions of this brain-dead far-left streamer who is clearly horrible with animals, and all because Critical made a horrible hot take of saying that murking someone at a public event in front of hundreds of students is disgusting. Now, I'm sure I don't need to pull up a 5-minute PowerPoint to explain why political violence should never be encouraged now, right, guys? But what I'll say is this, guaranteed on everything, the same people who are out there, you know, branding Penguinz0 as a far-right extreme, who are out there saying, Charlie, well, I'm not gonna say it, but I guarantee you that if an influencer on their side received the same treatment, the same fate, guaranteed it would be the same people who would start crying, saying, oh, this is horrible, this is horrifying, this is despicable. But here's the crucial difference between the mentally deranged and normal people like you, Penguin, and me. Even despite everything we've seen about Hassan, I don't believe for a second that anyone should get oofed. I think he should get deplatformed for, you know, being an extreme. I think you should, you know, get censored, get banned, but this kind of disgusting mentality is not it, ever. Because the moment you encourage political violence, well, it's gonna happen on both sides. And when it happens on your side, you're not gonna be so happy now, are you? Smash like and subscribe if you agree with this once upon a time, reasonable and cold take. But you know what, guys? Maybe this guy's onto something. Maybe we did get all baited by Germans from the 1940s. And you know what? Maybe all the evidence that we saw so far is fabricated. It's out of context. I mean, when we keep seeing video clips like this.
And now it's mainstream. I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
Yeah, well, it's here we get.
It's you have to be able to get 2 fingers, and I couldn't even get one. I think you're choking her.
She's like,
I don't know about you guys. That's also fake news. That's also fabricated, guys. Because if you dare say that Hassan is a horrible pet owner, you're a far-right Austrian painter supporter. But I do want to go back to the mental illness spectrum really quick, because I did say earlier that both the far left and far right are mentally ill. I don't want you guys to think that this video is a divisive video that's only attacking the far left. No, I'm attacking everyone here. And what better way to prove that the far right is also mentally ill than to... Well, I'm just gonna let this clip do the talking for me.
I went in a grocery store this morning, and it was spectacular. Being a white guy that has German features, classical.
No. If this is another textbook definition of someone who's clearly eligible for some government disability checks, I don't know what is. Smash like and subscribe if you agree. You know, I've been thinking, and there's always a chance that Hassan's far-left viewers are the ones who are in the right, and Penguinz0 deserves to be cancelled, deserves all the hate, and maybe perhaps he's an alt-right grifter. There's always a chance that, you know, maybe Hassan actually doesn't use a shock collar on his dog, and that we're all just lying about it, and we're all wrong. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's pretend that he doesn't use a shock collar on his dog. Let's assume that he doesn't. I do find it funny that the first thing Hassan does when his dog clearly yelps in pain is not go check if she's okay and comfort her, but instead, he decides to insult her.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Wow, guys. Hey, if you're trying to roam, if you're trying to put a paw just 1 millimeter like away from that 1x1 square prison, hey, you're spoiled. You're the definition of being spoiled. I don't get it, guys. I seriously don't get it. Why even get a dog? I'm starting to understand why Hassan's dog can literally be seen sitting still on its 1x1 prison for 4 hours straight during Hassan's streams. It's most likely scared to get shocked. You know how some TikTokers put Subway Surfers on the left side or bottom side of the screen? I genuinely believe that Hassan's dog is the equivalent of that for him. He's literally putting his dog and forcing his dog to be in that 1x1 prison to stimulate the viewers when he's being boring. Which is like 99% of the time. Because man, if you're gonna get a dog just to get angry, the moment it starts walking for 1 millisecond, don't get a dog at that point. But here's where this Penguinz0 situation gets even more disgusting. After everything we've seen so far, I think it's quite clear that Critical Penguin is getting cancelled by far-left nutjobs. But unfortunately, he's getting cancelled for another clip of his. But this time, not by Redditards, but instead by Twittertards. Now, we can't be too mad at, you know, Redditards and Twittertards attacking Critical and trying to cancel him, because we gotta remember that at the end of the day, Reddit and Twitter, they're just honeypots for the mentally deranged. But this is a clip that's got these freaks mad about.
I think it is terrible. And I'm aware that some people have been celebrating this. I find that to be fucking disgusting. Now, as I said on...
That's right, because Critical is calling the people who went full woohoo when Charlie Kirk passed away by filming TikToks and, you know, like celebrating his oofing. Well, because Critical is calling these freaks disgusting, they're trying to label him as alt-right.
Kirk just got shot.
Oh, hell no. Like, how can you film a TikTok like this and think like, you're the good guy, like, I'm the good guy? Oh, Critical was right. This is just disgusting. Not only physically, but also behavior-wise. Are you kidding me?
I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Oh, I see. So she's saying that if bad things happen to bad people, well, bad people according to her, then it's whatever, right? Like, people should assume the consequences of their actions. You know what? I think she's low-key cooking. By that same logic, people should be cheering if she dies of a heart attack. I mean... it's her fault for eating 50 Big Macs a day now, isn't it? Jokes aside, no, Critical is not alt-right for saying that celebrating someone's oofing is disgusting. He's not a German from the 1940s. He's just a mentally healthy leftist with common sense.
Money, 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 money.